So people tend to have their own ways when it comes to how they like to run their giveaway. Some will choose to announce a winner when a certain amount of retweets, likes, favorites, and things like that are met. But yeah, we don't get time for that kind of nonsense. I'm going to use the comment section in the video where I ask you what platform you play on as the list. So anyone that actually left a comment in that video is going to be entered into the giveaway. I'm going to give people until tomorrow to get in on it, and then that's it. I'm going to be picking a winner, or I should say winners, after Game of Thrones tomorrow. I'm going to be using an application so you can go and check it yourself to make sure there's no funny business going on, because yeah, that does happen sometimes on YouTube. And yeah, $20 PSN, $20 Xbox Live, $20 Steam card. That's about what I made on YouTube this month. Although vidIQ has me at an average of pulling in 100 per month, which I'm not sure how they come to that number. I can show you what I make here. Last month I think I pulled in $14. A lot of people dream about becoming successful, or at least successful enough on YouTube where they can pay their bills. But it's a double-edged sword. You know what I mean? I laugh, but it's not funny. Like, there's a lot of people that got hit hard when it comes to this nonsense that happens with YouTube. And I'm not talking about those that had to downsize from a Rolls Royce to a Mercedes Benz. I'm talking about people making enough to pay rent, things like that, put food on the table, and then the next thing you know, that's gone. And some of you might be like, hey, good, now they can go out and get a real job. Well, maybe they had a real job, but it was a dead-end job. A job where you're not going to get anywhere. A job where you're not going to get ahead. Sometimes you have to make bold decisions to get where you want or need to be. And then there's people that can't get regular jobs for whatever reason. With me anyways, I do this with the intention to try to give back. Most of the time I'm just not going to go out there and toot my own horn about it, because I want to do it from the heart. And while I don't have all that much, I try to use this as a way, as a means to help out the less fortunate. And so the way I saw it, the bigger the platform I could create, the more I could actually do of that. When it comes to YouTube content, the last thing viewers want to see or hear about are your YouTube problems. People do not want to hear it. They didn't sign up for that. I know this because I'm also a viewer. So I apologize for my last video where I talk about this issue I'm having with YouTube. I just find it extremely frustrating. Okay, so this is going to be a three-parter, and don't worry, I'm going to put timestamps downstairs so you don't have to be subject to a coma-inducing video. So don't worry, there's going to be some lifelines down the comment section. The giveaway details portion of the video is over. There's one more thing I did want to add. I do have a bottle of Quantum Nuka-Cola. It was a promotional item. It was only sold at Target, Bethesda, and Jones Soda Company came together to create this one-of-a-kind, very limited item. As time goes on, these will become increasingly rarer, okay? And anytime you have an edible or drinkable item, even more so, because people have the tendency to break down and actually, you know, give into the temptation to take a little taste, you know, see what it actually tastes like. And if you guys want that instead of one of these codes, I'd be more than happy to ship it over to you. Or a P.O. box, whatever. Doesn't have to be your home address. In this next portion of the video, I just want to take a quick moment to explain myself. I want to give you a better understanding why I can sometimes be a little bit critical or seem like I'm coming off a little bit harsh when it comes to certain things in video games. I will very rarely trash a game when it comes to its gameplay, okay, unless it's notoriously bad, because I understand developers put a lot of work into it. And some of these developers are crazy. Like, they spend 15, 20 hours sometimes into these games, you know. They become attached to them in so many different ways. And so when you're insulting their game, it's like you're insulting them. Like, I get that. And so I'll always try to find the good and the bad, you know. But when it comes to certain things, more specifically certain business models and game design, the kind of game design where it's more focused on trying to get you hooked, but not in the conventional ways where they would try to get you hooked because the game was so much fun, but in more nasty ways. trying to get you hooked because it's triggering off these feelings that you would get as if you were gambling, trying to emulate the rush you would feel as if you were sitting at a slot machine. If there's one thing I can sit here and say confidently that I feel I know more than most when it comes to video games, and that is people often use it as a form of escape, whether it's trying to forget about that they have a shitty dad, whether it's trying to forget about that they're getting bullied at school, or utilizing it in a more medicinal sense where it helps you keep your mind off of or cope with certain physical pains or disabilities and handicaps, okay? I always have a place in my heart for people that are hurting, suffering, or vulnerable, you know. And this idea that this generation has to deal with a lot of this nonsense. Companies are dumping millions of dollars into research for all the wrong reasons and all the wrong things. You might be wondering, why is this guy showing me this Chinese company and what does this have to do with anything? This is one of those companies that put a lot of money into that research, and not only that, created a company based on that foundation where you have other companies hiring them for their expertise, including Epic Games. When I first heard about this business endeavor between the two of them, I thought it was possibly small potatoes, no big deal. And then I realized, well, wait a minute. No, it's the direct opposite. They have quite a stake, to the point where Tencent invested so much money with Epic. They have a tremendous stake in the company. So much so, they can actually nominate who they want to be on Epic's board of chairmen, okay? In other words, shot caller status, okay? And what do you think this nominee is going to be suggesting when he's representing a company that has been known the actual cancer that plagues many of our games and the industry itself? This is the stuff that I despise. Not the game companies, the developers. This stuff. But I feel like for me to actually explain it to you, it's going to take more than one video to do it correctly, because it's complicated. There's plenty of times in my videos I have said things like, I have your best interest at heart. But at the same time, I don't expect for you to just trust me, because you don't know me, and you shouldn't. But this is what I meant. This is what I meant. This is the kind of story, or this is the kind of stuff you're not going to hear talked about on IGN, GameSpot. And this is the kind of stuff, certainly, you're not going to make friends with when it comes to trying to get a review code, that's for sure. You don't have to be a financial video game analyst to understand what's going on here. But at the same time, a lot of this stuff they keep very high on the shelf. This way it's out of sight and it's out of reach. So it's hard sometimes to come across this kind of information. So I don't blame people that don't know about it. I blame the people that do know about it, that refuse to either talk about it or address it, or more importantly, they condone it. They condone it. They find ways to condone this. To condone it. And that's appalling. And some of these people are the biggest YouTube personalities, so you can see how that might create a vicious circle of life, where they're introducing you to these games, they're being sponsored by these companies, who in turn are expecting them to introduce their game to their viewer base. Many of times, a very substantial following. Long story shorter, the day I intended to actually upload the Fortnite video, I experienced a once-in-a-blue moon kind of thing, okay? A very odd event when it comes to my internet not being able to function properly. And then the next day, my videos, my channel starts to get slammed, hit hard when it comes to getting flagged for being advertiser unfriendly. So that kind of delayed things when it comes to the Fortnite video. One thing I understand about YouTube is that if I want my platform to grow, I'm going to have to, you know, lay off the gas, so to speak, when it comes to talking about certain things. People don't like negative Nancy's, and I get that. I don't either. But the thing is, I'm trying to give information. I'm trying to enlighten. I'm not trying to be miserable. I'm not trying to hate just for the sake of hate. I'm not trying to be overly critical just for the sake of being overly critical. To be fair, the majority of my videos are gameplay commentaries, things like that. I don't focus on this 24/7. It might appear to be that way because those particular videos are maybe the most memorable. But I realized if I'm going to want to grow this platform, I'm going to have to keep my mouth shut, ignore certain things, turn my head, look the other way, and I just can't do that. One of the most memorable comments I've gotten in a while was from somebody recently. He called me his favorite Fortnite YouTuber. And, you know, I'm sure he was just trying to be nice. And, I was supposed to do the video, the one where I talk about what people want to see added into Fortnite or what they want to see changed. And, one of the comments I was going to read was from the same person. And I'm sure maybe I decided I can't promote this game anymore. In any way. And I know maybe you might be a little bit disappointed in that. I seen that you did leave quite a few suggestions when it comes to things you want to see added. Your suggestions were the first ones that I actually read. I feel it's more important for me to look out for you and tell you the truth than be a Fortnite YouTuber. And I really start to think about all of this happening. First, the crazy incident with the internet, which, may I add, a bird created, supposedly. And secondly, my videos just getting slammed in all at once by YouTube. I don't think it was a coincidence. I was severely conflicted when it comes to Fortnite, me trying to take advantage because I was getting some momentum behind the Fortnite videos, and in the back of my mind I felt like this is a game I shouldn't be promoting. This is a game I should not be featuring on my channel anymore, since now I am enlightened about the whole story, the whole picture, exactly what's going on with this company. If you go back and you actually listen to those videos I created, you might have a better understanding now when it comes to, okay, this guy wasn't just deliberately pulling things out his rear. When it comes to Epic needing to make money and make it yesterday, using any method possible, including misleading people on Amazon.com to believe that they're actually buying a full-featured game, not mentioning beta, early access, nothing on the store page. That is illegal, by the way. And while I could have done a better job articulating, I can always do a better job in every sense. My heart was in the right place, and I believed in what I was talking about. And I understand some of you now are probably going to unsubscribe and never look back, especially if you came here for Fortnite content. And I completely understand. And I appreciate you giving me a chance. You did more than most people would have. But I refuse to sell my soul, more importantly, your soul, for the sake of growing my platform. And I actually started to try to fool myself, trying to convince myself that there's a necessary evil. At the end of the day, it's for a good reason. I have good intentions. But that's a bunch of nonsense. If you have to hurt one person in order to help the next, it doesn't really make sense now, does it? If I disappointed some of you, I am sorry. It took me up until the time of actually recording this to decide whether or not I was going to actually feature that Fortnite content. My channel might start to slide a little bit because of this decision, but at least I'll be able to sleep good tonight. At least I'll be able to sleep with a clear conscience, and I'll be hopefully taking a look at Agents of Mayhem and all the other new releases. You're welcome, obviously, to stick around for that. If not, it was a privilege having you. And thanks for listening.